Three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're here today with my wonderful special guest, Katya. We're here to talk about a range of topics, including healing from a range of challenges and conditions, sharing our own experiences, and it's the first time I've chatted with Katya, so I'd love to know more about you and your journey as well. So welcome, Katya. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, John. My name is Katya. I'm a life coach. I'm originally from Slovenia, so hence the accent. I like to tell that out. It's my vulnerability, so it has to come.
Oh,
It has to
I
come
love your
out.
accent.
um, I've been dealing my whole life with PTSD, chronic illness, most of my life. And I would like to help people to achieve an inner peace amidst everything, and that we can heal and we can be a normal part of society amidst the struggles.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for introducing yourself, and yeah, I'd love to learn a bit more about some of the challenges you've experienced. You did mention that so you have your own business. You started your own business
Yeah,
as well as healing through some significant health challenges.
yes, yeah.
Um, so it'd be lovely to hear about all these aspects of you. Maybe you could take us back to like younger in life when you first perhaps came aware of some of the conditions that you faced.
Yes, so I lived in a family of four. My father is an alcoholic, which is a real struggle. And I think my mom was trying her best handling his addiction.
Mm.
But I was afraid of him, and that caused me to be in fear and terror and horror
Oh.
most of my childhood. Um, I wasn't aware of the application that will have on my life. That came later. Um, but I was always a shy child, very timid. I didn't fit in. I didn't fit in my family. I didn't fit in my among my peers. Um, and looking back, the real struggle was I was too much at home and not enough in school. So what do you become? Like your true self is not worth it. So you become like not enough and too much at
Oh.
the same time. So that was a real struggle. And I built a lot of coping mechanisms. And then at
Mm.
14 years old, we had a real traumatic event in our family when my brother had near that experience. And at 14 years old, I guess that was a bit too much for me.
Mm.
So I developed migraine, and I was collapsing every single day for 4 years after that. Um, and then I struggled. I really struggled among people because I had this fear that people are bad. People are going to cause me damage, um, and I left home at 20 years old, and I found myself alone, thinking. I am this whole person inside, but these parts I have built, these shadows, I never looked at them. This is I have to deal with. And so I started my healing journey now almost 25 years ago, just bit by bit by bit.
Mm.
Yes.
Wow. Wow, they are huge. Huge. Each individual experience that you had seemed really significant for anyone in their lives, and to have all of those, especially, it feels like quite close proximity as well, especially in times of your life when it's hard enough, right? Especially when you're
Yeah.
a teenager, you're going through such a change in yourself, and then the outside world you can see changing and reacting with you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and on your journey, so you mentioned about 25 years of healing, and I loved you were talking about also these different aspects of yourself that you
Mm-hmm.
built. As you said that, it struck a chord with me. I realized the different parts of me I'd constructed
Yeah.
over time, like, you know, father, husband, musician, like the kind of
Mm-hmm.
extrovert side of me, the introvert who always as a child wanted to stay indoors
Yes.
and hide from the world, and then also my software career, which was very um, again quite extrovert and very like masculine, like constantly pushing and pushing.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm kind of now that I'm no longer pushing any of those parts of me, have the responsibility of kind of bringing them back to
Mm-hmm.
together. Could you talk a bit about your journey, about how you've been bringing these parts of you back
Yeah.
home to your heart?
Yeah. So I noticed at 20 years old that I cannot stay a victim. I cannot be in a victim mentality.
Mm-hmm.
This is my life. These are the cards I've been dealt with, and I have to deal with this. I must say that I was probably forced to deal with some of the parts because of the migraine.
Mm-hmm.
Chronic disease, it's very hard, it's daily, I don't have energy. So I dealt with my perfectionist and OCD, a hypervigilant part of me, and overachiever I dealt with because I just couldn't do it anymore. I
Yeah.
went to school, I worked two jobs, and I was just
Oh wow.
like, I was all over the place trying
Yeah.
to outrun the void that was in me.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at all those parts, like what is perfectionism? What is its role in my life? Because you have to, the shadow work. The shadow work is you have to see it. It has to be seen and heard and understood. Why is it there? Because essentially, these parts of ourselves are all helping us. They are working for us for the time being.
Yeah.
So that's how I started. I started to dissect my parts, like what is its role. And when I really seen them and I'm offered them unconditional love, they they don't have that. Um, they don't have to have that role anymore. I
Yeah.
can be. I can be a leader. I
Oh,
can.
that's lovely.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you share a bit more about your migraines?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I used to get them about once a month, and
Mm-hmm.
they would stop me in my
Mm-hmm.
tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't I would say a pain rating of somewhere between 0 where it didn't exist at all and 10 where
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably be in the hospital.
Yeah.
Um, that somewhere they were often around 7 or 8 out of 10 where I had to like stop the day, I had to go and lie down,
Yeah.
and painkillers didn't really help
No.
much.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really consider my condition, for those times that it happened, um, it wasn't hugely intrusive in my life. But you're describing something that sounds much more chronic. How was that experience for you?
Yeah, so like every disease, it's a symptom in the body, right? It's trying to
Mm,
tell you something, but at 14, I was probably too young and not having enough self-awareness to notice that this is the symptom of the body. You have to
mm,
do something about it. So my disease progressed. It was from 2 times a week to 4 times a week, and it's now daily. But I reframe my migraine to it's my biggest teacher. It is my biggest teacher. I don't
wow.
think I would know what self-care and self-love is if there wasn't a disease there.
Mm,
Um, and learning how to, you have to stop, you have to pause. I have to go lay down in a dark room, be in a quiet. I need a lot of quiet time because everything is it's stimuli nowadays, like everything, like the
that's right.
noise, the noise. It's just, yeah. So I have to stop, I have to pause, and I could be like, my God, my life sucks. This is no life. This is like, and I have days, I'm a human. I have
Yeah.
days when I think it's too much, I cannot go on. And then I have a meltdown. I let those emotions flow through me,
Mm,
the anger, the sadness, the grief of the person I cannot be. And I let them be, and then I just kick my butt a little bit and let's move on. I don't want to wallow in all those, it is what it is. I don't want to fight with my reality. This is my reality.
mm,
But yeah, I do think, and it's probably not for everybody to say that I see it as a teacher. Um, because when people are really suffering, like in a real suffer, when I'm in pain that's like above 10, like you think you're going to go
Yeah.
insane. I don't think you would say to a person, it's just a lesson. It's a
That's right.
teacher,
What are
you
you
know?
learning? It's like, no, stop.
Yeah, it took me time to understand. I learned that I'm a sensitive soul. It's not just that I'm a sensitive, but I'm a sensitive soul. So I
Mhm.
feel things differently. I feel people's emotions. I feel people's energy, and I'm sure that affects my disease. And but yeah, I accepted that that is part of my journey, that's unique me, being with a set of challenges.
Mhm.
And because I'm dealing with them for so long, I think I can be a great teacher and I can be a great support to people. And yeah.
Wow. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I do agree that um we're human. We don't always like to be told the truth in the moments of when we're suffering. Like, why this is so good for you? It's like I don't want it to be good. I don't. It doesn't feel like that right now.
Yeah.
And yet, yeah, it's so powerful for my body. For example, I know I now it's taken me a long time to start to get some of the early warning signs of the onset of something like a migraine,
Mm-hmm.
where I almost feel there's a slight dizziness. Often
Mm-hmm.
it's triggered by dehydration, and
Mm-hmm.
dehydration is because I'm not is a symptom of me not looking after my body, and often because I'm working too hard. It's like they're all interconnected, and also it feels like my body also it's learned there's a dialogue. It's like this is
Mm-hmm.
how I talk with John. I talk with pain, and so when John's
Yeah.
working too hard, I just tell him, "Hey, you've got to stop. Here's this pain." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"No,
Yeah.
could you like send me an email? Like, could we have booked the time off?" And it's like, well, that's for you're. I'm now learning for my mind and heart to just you know to have a daily conversation. How does that feel? How does my calendar feel? How do the things I'm doing feel? And I often now every morning I look at my calendar and I just place my hand on my heart and talk to my body about it. How does all that feel? It's like that's quite a lot, especially later on today. Let's pace it out through the lunch break. Have a long lunch break. Pace yourself. Don't do anything this evening. Um, but yeah, I do feel that pain is a great teacher. It's just also the suffering side we can't deny. Um, I know one thing that really fascinates me about um, chronic conditions is these. I guess there's this aspect where we just fight our bodies, right? We get annoyed. We say to ourselves, "Do more." Like why can't you be like everyone else, or at least everyone else appears
Mm-hmm.
on the outside? Why can't I work as many hours as others? Why can't I write as many emails, write as many documents, present as well as others? And it's like this. It creates this very negative self talk. How have you been able to work through those aspects of, I guess, what you described as like allowing the energy, the emotion, first of all, to be felt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I learned that when we ignore our body, which is very clear, our body is very clear, we just ignore it, the body will say no for me.
Hmm.
I'm at that stage that my body will say no for me. And I'm still learning from it. To have no guilt when I need rest, to have no guilt when I have to cancel things. I had to learn that because my body cannot perform the same way as everybody does, or we just see it that way.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I have to listen to my body. I'm at that stage that I have to, but um, that taught me a lot about guilt and shame.
Hmm.
So I think that because I'm learning all these lessons that I probably was putting off when I was younger, I'm still there and I still learn and I learn every day. And I must say that for the last year, I feel so much better because I rest with no guilt.
Um,
Yeah, and I say things and I decline things and say no without shame and guilt, and it's been a journey. It's a great journey, but I can say that now because I'm okay with the pain. I can deal with the pain. I'm probably one of those people, maybe was put on me because I can.
Mhm.
Um, I'm okay with the pain. I struggle the most with fatigue. Fatigue is one of the things that I struggle the most, and I don't want to
Mhm.
push through anymore,
Yeah.
like I did all my life. But yeah, I learned something about myself every single day, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, thank you for sharing. You when you touched on, pushing through the fatigue,
Mm-hmm.
I remember this vividly. Um, just May last year, I left my corporate job at Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
and for those 8 years that I was there, I would I pushed myself really hard, and I would um, you can probably see it in my YouTube content alone. I very like almost hyper productive, and so when I was in focusing that energy on a corporate job, start at 8 in the morning, often finish at 8 at night, or later, or you take a break and then dial into later meetings. I learned how to. Um, I'm not proud of this, but I learned how to touch type. I learned it from the interview process, so I could transcribe whilst making eye contact with people and talking with them and being personable and doing an interview. So I'd write up their interview notes real time, and then I took that skill that was about in the first year, and I started using it in meetings. So I started create. I would do two jobs literally at the same time. I'd be writing a document and and people would say, John, how did you do that? You were just in the meeting with me, and it said, well, I did it when I wasn't talking. When I talk, I just stop, and when you talk, I just type. And often the meetings were huge, so sometimes you'd be there for 20 people and plus, so you could just sit there working the whole time. And I didn't acknowledge the cost that I was bearing. Now I think of that and think that is exhausting. I'm not strong at multitasking, and everyone thought, John, you're amazing. And it's like, no, I just like really push myself. And the conversations I'd have with my body every morning was, okay, like stop complaining. Like, look at everyone else. You've got a job to do. They're relying on you. You've got a deadline. Go for a run, drink some coffee, and get through it. And that was like literally my internal talk every day. And whenever I felt tired, fatigued, when I was kind of losing my concentration, I would just give myself more negative self-talk. And I coming up on just over 2.5 years ago. Well, it would be three and a half years ago now. I realized I was on the edge of burnout. Like I was just getting to the edge where I'd created, because what I didn't realize what I'd done was I'd created this illusion, right, that this was sustainable because I'd done it for years, and everyone around me, they later told me, it took them years to say this as well. The people that I'd hired, I was responsible for about 35 people, and they all told me one at a time over a period of time. They said, "You are hyper productive, and it is intimidating to us. We feel we have to constantly try and reach up to those same levels, and it's exhausting for us." And I felt really bad. I was like, that was never my intention. Was always to help them and to take the burden off them. And then accidentally, I was, you know, le leading by bad example. Is that I think that's the way I describe it. But yeah, I knew that I had to stop, and I was probably just 2 or 3 weeks away from having to, you know, I, what I was worried about, and I guess that's what a lot of us worry about, is our body taking a mutiny, right? We feel our minds feel like the captain of the ship, and then actually the crew is our body, and they says no, like we're done, we're not sailing anymore, we're stopping. And that's I just felt that coming really close. And luckily, I took the action to go part time, and that was a huge help. I went from 5 to 3 days a week for the last 2 years, and that was a kind of journey to here. Can you tell me a bit more about some of the examples that perhaps you use today? You mentioned, for example, not feeling guilty about rest, not feeling
Mm-hmm.
guilty about changing things in your calendar. Can you share a bit more about some of those examples and how that feels?
Hmm. Yeah. So, what should I start? First thing for me was to accept my reality,
Mm,
not fighting, because this is one thing I think we do, most of us do. We have this fight inside of us. I don't want to do this. Why am I doing this? It's a fight.
yeah.
So when I don't know who said that to me first. Acceptance is the first step. I was like, I cannot accept this.
Yeah.
No, because I probably had it wrongly in my head that acceptance means I give up,
Mhm.
which acceptance only mean that I accept that this is a chapter in my book.
Yeah.
And yeah, um, and it's not the whole story. So acceptance first. So we're not in this fight all the time.
Yeah.
um, then I noticed the my thoughts, because I was hyper vigilant all my life. Perfectionist, hyper vigilant. So my mind was racing all the time. So I had to learn how to stop that thought loop. And for me, the best book was what is it called? The Miracle of Mindfulness. There was a saying in there: when you stir the pot, only stir the pot. It's an old book, so makes sense why when you stir the pot, only stir the pot. But it was
Mhm.
so shocking to my system
Yeah.
that I stopped. So I had to repeat myself like constantly, because I was doing cooking, cleaning, job at the same time, and nothing was finished because I was all over the place.
Yeah.
So I had to bring myself into the now, one thing at a time. Now I say to myself, one thing at a time, one
Yeah.
thing at a time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So I calm down, and I can say that I don't have that loop in my mind anymore.
Mm.
Then gratitude was one of the practices. I was a very negative person when growing up. And it makes sense because nervous system is there to protect you. Nervous system is not there to make you happy.
Mm.
So because I was always scanning for danger, that's how my home felt. Like
Yeah.
you never knew what's going to happen. So I was always scanning. So of course that my mind was always looking for danger and always making worst case scenarios.
Mhm.
And I hated it. Why am I so negative? I don't feel a negative person inside. My heart is not a negative heart.
Yeah.
So I found a gratitude practice, and I practiced for 3 weeks every single day. And it does change you. Gratitude practice does change you,
Yeah.
because you suddenly start looking for the good things, the things that you're grateful for, the beautiful things in your life.
Mhm.
I published a gratitude diary.
Oh, wow.
It's
Oh,
on
fabulous.
Amazon.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
because I remember how gratitude practice changed my life. That
Yeah.
I don't know if you notice, but when we are angry and someone says to you, be happy, that's like almost impossible to get from anger to happiness, or
Yeah.
from sadness to joy.
Mhm.
But even in pain, even when I was angry or sad or sitting with despair, I could always be grateful for something.
Yeah.
I have I don't know, hot water in my tap or whatever. I
Yeah.
can always do that. And it's a big change. I don't think people understand. Everybody says, yeah, I am grateful. But if you're grateful constantly, it changes the chemistry in your brain.
Yeah.
It change and it changes the biology, and your start beats differently, and you get heart brain coherence because of the gratitude. So
Yeah.
it's a huge thing. Um, and then what was the question about? Um,
Just about how you deal with, having to put things like change your schedule, for example, to accommodate your
yes,
body's needs.
yes. So I learned that the parts I built in my life, all the parts I was playing, let's say we are playing the parts, like you were talking about your job,
Yeah.
right? You're playing a part. You're playing a part with your friends, you're playing a part at home, you're playing a part. But that's not me. That is a part of me that it's built on an illusion. The real me is here.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had a thought, you're not going to just lay down now, you have things to do. That's not me. In my heart, I feel I need to listen to my body. My body says it's tired, it needs quiet, it needs a downtime, and I'm going to honor it. I'm going to honor my body, because when I didn't, I was burned out. That's how I attracted disease. That's how it just progresses, because I didn't listen to myself. I didn't listen to my heart or the soul, however you want to call it. It's all the same. It's all the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
The parts are built on an illusion, and it's unsustainable.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot go on like you said with your job. You cannot go on like that for 30 years.
Yeah.
Something would happen. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the parts are built on an illusion, because true self was not enough. You couldn't say, I don't want to go to work today. You went to work.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's your responsibility. You have to go.
Mm-hmm.
But you were operating from the part of yourself that's not aligned with your heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, I now like listen to my heart, what my heart says, and that's how I deal with the guilt and the shame. The true self doesn't have a problem. The problem has the part, the mind. The mind has always a problem.
Yeah.
But I can always choose not to listen to my mind. I can always choose challenge my mind. If there's one thing that I would like every person to know, that you are not your mind.
Mm-hmm.
We are a mind, a body, and a soul. And if your mind is always leading, you're just an actor in your movie.
Yeah.
The heart needs to lead, to be like fulfilled and happy and healthy and aligned with your soul mission.
Oh, that's so powerful. Yeah, I totally agree. Um, Touching on gratitude, I remember recently looking at, you can search on the internet and you'll see loads of these different charts where they map frequency to different emotions. And so they'll show often gratitude is right up the top around 500 hertz. And then things like fear or shame are down at about 26 hertz.
Yeah.
And so you don't need to like fully believe in the frequencies of emotions or any of those things. But if you do the simple maths and you'd say, well, maybe these charts have something in them, because you do feel it, right? You feel fear down in the kind of lower part of your heart and then deep into like the pit of your stomach, and it can sometimes make your legs go heavy, and it's like it's a downward feeling. And then we often describe happy, joyful gratitude feelings like right up here. And yeah, gratitude, I feel I started a gratitude practice, I don't really know when, maybe 5 years ago. It's just every morning. So I just place my hand on my heart, and it's the first words I say every morning. And as I say these things, imagine them kind of illuminated in my mind, and the feeling of them, almost like everything that I say is like a kind of rock star of my universe. So I'll say, I'm grateful for my wife, my family, my friends, my food, my water, my home, my music studio, my motorhome, my this beautiful planet Earth, every living thing. And then I also thank my spirit guides, and they always laugh and say, "Why are we always last? Why are we last in your gratitude list?" And yeah, every time I just imagine them, when it's my friends and family, they're like their faces just illuminate up in front of me, and I feel that feeling, and I just in those moments before the chaos of the day starts, I just feel, yeah, I'm warm. I have a roof over my head. If it's raining outside, if it's cold outside, I'm warm and safe. And I also feel that gratitude's really helped me with cultivating safety, because I used to think in my mind that logically, you know, safety was a lock on my front door of my home. And then but then you can feel so unsafe in yourself, which doesn't have a lock, when you're, when I would just, like you're saying, like push myself, be that actor, be the Jon Binnie software manager at Amazon, and I would turn up in that role every day, and my body did not feel safe about that, because this projection of me, and it was so mind focused, um, was burning me out. And so yeah, I do feel now, I must admit, whenever I face fear, I'll stop myself and I just go to a gratitude practice. And it's so funny to go to it, because you can't deny the fear. Now, I'd never recommend we bypass these things, but it's almost like rewinding a moment, saying, okay, let me just do a kind of status check on me, because if I'm scared of something, it's probably not. I probably started to kind of assume and take for granted many of the things that I'm actually grateful for. And so I just go back to I'm grateful for my happiness, my health, my family, my friends, my home. And then and then I come back to the fear and say, okay, what are you trying to say, fear? Like, give in this context of I'm very grateful for these other things in my life. What is this fear that's really um, showing itself to me now? And one fear that's common when we start our own businesses is lack of bookings. This feeling of a fear of lack
Yeah.
of abundance. And in those moments, when I catch myself, it's like, okay, I see you, I feel you. Let's go back to gratitude first of all, and then let's come back to that fear again and say, okay, heart, let's feel into that. Like, what's really at the root cause of it? Why do I really feel scared? Um, which is funny, because that was the uh, heart aligned business alchemy workshop I ran on YouTube yesterday, all about the dark side of our business and the fears. Um, And so you mentioned you've started your own business. Can you tell us a bit more about when, like how, like why you decided to, when and how?
Yes. I started my business 6 years ago when my coach said, you would be such a great coach.
Yay.
But then I was thinking, I was probably a coach all my life,
Mhm.
because I remember people not liking me. Um, I don't know about you, John. You probably, because you can talk to your higher self and you probably see higher selves of other people.
Mhm.
I get the energy from people before they even speak.
Yeah.
So I know what's troubling them already. But
Mhm.
then they speak and the words don't match with what
That's
I'm
right.
getting.
Yeah.
So I would always point that, like, you're not saying that thing. And people were mad at me.
Yeah.
They came back later. They always came to me when something was troubling them, but they were
Mhm.
always mad because I was pointing the things underneath mind creates a story, what is
Yeah.
happening inside of
That's
us.
right. Yeah.
It's a create a story. But the problems lies underneath that, and you have to
Mhm.
dig
Yeah.
deep. And I noticed that I do that to myself. Like I dig,
Mhm.
I dig, I dig, I dig. But most people don't want to go there. Like, yeah, I know it's there, but don't. No, let's not. No. So I was always pointing that to people, and so I do believe I was coached all my life. But it's a different thing when people pay to you, because then they allow you to
Mhm.
dig deep and ask questions. And I'm not saying that I heal people or whatever, because I just ask questions. I just ask questions, and I ask them so many times in so many different ways, so that people get this aha in their head.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing this. Oh, I'm doing this. I just, it's like being just a catalyst to people's healing,
Yeah.
because I think most of people need that, like just someone to dig instead of them, because we kind of shy away from our deeper parts of ourselves, or we told this story so many times that we do believe this story, we identify with the story. which for me, I think is the biggest problem nowadays. We identify with the story, not
Yeah.
what's really inside of us. So and that's how, and I do coach. I coach only one person at the moment. I have to, like, honor my body.
Yeah.
I still coach my friends and friends of our friends, and I'm not big, but yeah, this is something I love. I love helping people to find that inner coach. Like,
Yeah.
we all have it if we would just like sit and listen, and we all have the inner coach. That's the most powerful thing.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I really feel that from you, is this beautiful desire to want to help people,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, reconnecting with their hearts, right? It's so powerful, because this took me years, like most of my life, to realize that our minds don't really feel emotions, right? Our minds are much more like, the way I imagine my mind speaking to my body and heart is like, hey, what do you feel right now? And it's like, my heart says, do you want the answer? It's like, maybe. It's like, you're happy, right? And it's like, well, actually, and it's like, and then the mind is just, I used to just be so disconnected all the time. And yet now, when I ask my heart directly as a dialogue, and then importantly, when my heart says, actually, not very happy about this thing, it's like, right, okay, stop, everyone stop. Like, heart said something, let's listen to what that really
Yeah.
feels like. Especially now, I run my own business, and I used to be able to blame others, right? I used to be able to go, my manager's so bad. And I don't know how many Friday evenings sat with my wife complaining about my manager, whoever they were, over 26 years. And yet now it's just me. And so I have to say to myself, okay, yeah, like you touched on, Katya, those challenges of connecting with the higher aspects of ourselves as well. My higher self, I would describe as, well, first of all, I do feel blessed to be much closer now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just over time, that gap between
Yeah.
the kind of density of me and the higher aspects of me is narrowing. Um, and then just sometimes, we the truth from our hearts and our higher aspects of us aren't what we want to hear in the moment. I was asking my higher self this morning in a morning run, 5 a.m., pitch black, looking at the stars. And I was thinking about a friendship and some challenges that I'd had recently. And I asked my higher self, and I was running for a moment, just placed my hand on my heart, like stopped for a moment, and just said, higher self, what what's the best thing to do in this situation with this friend? And the answer was very clear, very short, very clear. It was just, see this through the eyes of love. And I was like, but I want to be angry. And then it was like, yes, you can be as angry as you want about that situation, but the anger will never solve it. So get that anger out, see it, and now see how you're going to solve it through the eyes of love. If you could imagine that you could talk and see and perceive it through the eyes of love, what would love do? And it's like, oh, okay, this is great advice, thank you. And then got on with my run. Um, but I love that you've 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 gone into a business where it's really hard, right? Because I often feel like I started coaching. I guess it was really the start of last year, but this summer, like I think August onwards, I've started to offer it really as a service, and coaching multiple people. And the first thing that really hit me was that it's like, well, I've got my own problems and my own business to sort out. Oh, and now I'll take on other people's problems too. And I feel so passionate about them. I'm like, I want you to succeed. I want nothing but. I don't care, like, about the money or the testimonial or anything like that. It's like I just feel so invested in the success of other people, and yet I know that I can't do it for them. Alls I can do is kind of lead them
Mm-hmm.
back to, some patterns. For example, if there's fear of lack of bookings, it's like, okay, it doesn't matter how many bookings you get, because you're still going to have that fear. And I know that's not what you want to hear. I could we could do advertising, we could do all these different things and bring you people, but you will still feel exactly the same inside, if not
Mhm.
worse,
Mhm.
because you worry it's all going to fall apart. And yeah, I'd love to hear a bit more about some of your coaching experiences and how how you've clearly matured and evolved from being a child and into your teenage years of a lot like experience with a lot of physical and emotional trauma. How have you then managed to get yourself to a stage where you're able to help and support others?
Oh, it's been a journey. It's been a journey. It took me probably 3 years to be able to record myself.
Wow.
You know that
Oh, well done.
there's this disease we have, red button syndrome. What is it called? Like you have a fear of pressing the red button.
Hmm.
So that for me was, I'm never speechless. I'm never, never. I talk all the time. I always
Yeah.
say when I'm gonna be dead, I'm still gonna talk. I'm gonna come back. I'm still gonna talk. But when I press that button,
Mhm.
it's blank. Yeah. So it took me a lot of looking at the shadows. I think the first shadow, and it's a collective one, is a wound of separation.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is a big one because I'm I felt that I'm disconnected. My mind and my heart are disconnected. So when I try to do something from my mind, but it's a heart-based business. This is a
Mhm.
heart-based business. It's not, I'm not IT. Um, and I go into my mind to look for answers. I'm going to my mind to think about what I'm going to tell, which story I'm going to tell.
Mhm.
It's not going to happen. So that journey, and I think that's the journey we are all on at the moment. I think that's what ascension is,
Mhm.
dropping from mind to heart.
Yeah.
um, I went through this the last 6 years, and yeah, it is a journey to you know how they say follow your heart, and you do try to follow your heart, but then you immediately invite the mind in.
That's right. Yeah.
And the mind, it's not it doesn't have always your best interest because it protects you.
Mhm.
So it doesn't, you cannot build with the mind what your heart wants if you're not fully connected.
Yeah.
If you haven't, you know that's how most of the psychic people do soul retrieval. if
Yeah.
if you don't integrate all the parts in there, it's not a complete connection.
Mhm.
So that was my business journey. It was actually not a business thing, so that's why I went to probably two business coaching programs. And then I noticed I don't have business problems as per se, how to run a business, how to, send an invitation, I don't have problems with that. I have problems with my own parts. I
Mhm.
have to, I have to invite them all in if I want to build a heartfelt business. I don't know how
Yeah.
you feel about that, but that
Yeah.
was my journey.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's funny. Just yesterday, Monday, I was writing my higher self advanced training course, which is about how to run the heart aligned business
Mm.
mentoring I now do, and it's very much a self love, self care approach to business, which I wish I'd done many years ago. But it took those years of pain to understand why it's important. Um, and the pattern, if I remember this right, the pattern that I've come up with is like I do a kind of session of an introduction, like ask about what the person has. Are they thinking of starting a business? Do they have one already? Just get all the kind of facts first of all, and then I ask them a really simple question like, well, what do you believe your mission is of your business? Like what, like the purpose of it, and of your life. What is it you want? Because a lot of people will just default to, I just want to earn a lot of money, and actually when you get down to it, they don't. That's not what they really want. They want happiness. They don't want to die rich and sad. They want to die maybe never, and just be super happy until then. Um, and then we go into another session where we visit their future. So we visit that future kind of life of them and find out what are they doing, who are they with, where are they, how does it, but most importantly, how does it feel inside? How does their heart feel? And get their future self to share that with them directly. Some of it's prompted by me, and as much as I can, getting the client to experience it themselves. And then the third one is we go to the fear, right? So we ask, the kind of segue is we ask the future self, what fear, what blockages did you face to get there? Like, how did you do it? And so we go back. Often, sometimes it's to past lives. Often it's in this life when we're younger, and then go and face that fear. And the fears are incredible, right? Like they are, as you were saying earlier, the mind's often kind of disconnected from them, and they're sitting there. They've been there since they're a child, and they've been doing their very best to create this whole reality and story, like many of us do, around that fear, that childhood wound. And then when it comes to a business, and we are our business, especially when it's just one person in it, um, we just amplify. We put more energy into avoiding that fear and do all the things to try and avoid it. In my case, I would work longer hours. If I'm scared of not having enough business, I'd work longer hours, advertise more, complain to other people more about the fact my business wasn't, successful, and just complaining about all the other things, the economy and whatever else excuse I could think of. And then the fourth one is, after we faced that fear and got some actions about how to deal with it, the fourth one is I go away and speak with the person's spirit guide and higher self and channel, like real time. I'm sat with a spreadsheet and I go through all these things like, okay, what's the business they're going to do? How are they going to help the people? What's their mission? What's their purpose? And I draft out some of their, like an outline of their offerings. And the idea is to kind of give like a whole kind of blueprint for someone, say, okay, this is what the messages that have come through for you about a potential way of you progressing your business. And then these are the things that you said. For example, it starts with like your mission, then it says your future self said it feels like this, and so it's like these constant like north stars, like the direction of like how does that feel, like tracking that feeling constantly. And then a bit about the end about I present back, and I really get the person to ask questions, and then take it over. It's like it's yours, it's your business, it's your heart. And in that journey, I've done it four or five times now, and it's what I think really surprised people is that almost this frustration of, well, why do I have to do all of this, when really a lot of it is where a lot of the most powerful part is facing the fear and then a decision about the direction that you want to go. Like, how do you really want to feel? I remember I met up with my old boss from Amazon a couple of weeks ago, and she was asking, how do you come up with new service offerings? And I said, I just I receive the inspiration for a new idea. Maybe I've tried something, I've heard of someone doing it. One of spirit guides, my higher self has suggested, or it's been there, feeling like in like my intuition and subconscious for quite some time. And then eventually I go, okay, right, it's going on the to-do list. I prioritize my to-do list based on my mission and how much joy it brings me. And then I try it for free. Just like my business mentoring, I started that for free. Well, actually last year in January, but in earnest, August this year. And I love it. It's so much fun. And it's like, oh, this is great fun. This is really high up on my priority because it feels so good to help others. And then just working out the costs, like what would I charge people? Because I never looked at whatever other people charge. I was like, I have no idea what they do. I suspect it's nothing like what I do. I have received one or two coaching sessions before, but I'd never really realized the reward, how rewarding the work could be. Um, Sorry, I'm telling you my life story. I'd love to I'd love to go back to that fear part because it was so powerful, and I must ask this question: how many of these have you done, like a podcast or talking on videos on YouTube or other platforms?
None. None.
Wow,
You are my
well
first
done.
one.
Woohoo! Wow, well done. Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm very
Um,
proud of myself because in the past I would talk myself out of it.
wow.
I would cancel today because I wouldn't be. And I said to you in the beginning, I am nervous, but I'm not as nervous as I would thought I would be. Like
Yeah.
it's not there anymore. I love talking to people, so why I wouldn't? Yeah.
Well, well done. Congratulations. That's so cool.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
because you touched on it a little bit before we started, and I was feeling that it's like if this is your first time, it is simply incredible to witness. Given that you've gone from fear, and you said several
Mhm.
years, right? Was it 3 years of fear of hitting the record
Yeah.
button?
Yes.
And um, I would I'd love that anyone watching this, including the future you, the future us, that we can look back at this moment and say,
Yeah.
you know what, I was scared,
Mhm.
and it was okay to turn up. You know, we had a little list between because the sequence of events was something like you've I've seen you commenting on my YouTube videos, and then I think
Mhm.
I commented you and said, would you like to come on a podcast together?
Yes.
Here's my email address. And then
Yeah.
immediately you're like, hey, yeah, let's talk. What are we going to talk about? Which I think, did you think about the topics for the weekend or something?
I was
Um,
thinking, yeah, but when you go to your mind and think about, we can have, there's so many
that's right.
subjects
Yeah,
there.
it's so true.
Yeah.
And I love that so you gave me a little list, and then literally we just turned up, said hello, and then we just hit record. And there, in part, I share this because I always love creating content that I can go back to. It's
Mhm.
in part why I create so much content. In fact, just before this video, I've never done a reaction video, right? So I did my first reaction video to one of my favorite songs in my first album, and I've released 179 albums. And so I look back to that first video, and you can see me, you know, if it's worked, if I managed to record it correctly, it's playing video and my reactions. And I want to do that again in the future. I want to keep looking back because
Mhm.
for me, I really feel that I I was really nervous about talking like this, and I think in some respects people look at me and think, oh, you must be so confident and so outgoing. I'll finish the recording today and I'll put on my woolly hat and I'll go outside and walk in the woods and with my dog Patch and talk with trees and things, but and video it. And yet I feel it's very much the same approach as just sharing, like we've known each other for years, maybe lifetimes, um, and that always feels really powerful to me. Is just to allow my heart to surrender and say it's okay with a nice, as long as my heart's open, I could talk with you forever.
Yes, for sure. Feel the same way.
Oh, that's wonderful. But yeah, thank you so much for being brave and coming on. And
Thank you, John.
please do share with me, and I'll put into the description some links about how people can get in touch with you if
Mhm.
you're open to new clients or just be aware
Yeah.
of your content. You have a YouTube channel as well, right?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, anything you'd like to share before we finish today?
Um, we didn't say it before when you talked about these emotions, how they're on the chart,
Yeah,
and the science behind it is there's something above love. Love is the highest. Unconditional love is the highest. It was, but
yeah.
there's something about that, and it's authenticity.
Hmm.
So because I see in the spiritual community a lot of fake
Oh,
positivity,
yes.
like you know
Yeah. It's all love. It's love, love.
yeah, and then we don't feel that way in our own lives, and we feel guilty and ashamed because I do go through all these emotions in every day, and why can't I stay there? Why I can't be like a 5D being all the time? Why am I dropping back? And
Yeah.
because that's how it is. This is authentic me. This is my authentic feelings I go through. Like waves every day. And
Yeah.
yeah, this is my message for the people. Just be authentic. And when I was trying to build my business from my head, oh, let's teach mindfulness, let's teach ego integration. But the thing is that me as authentic me is my business, because I'm the only part of this
Yeah.
business.
Yes.
And I believe I'm a living library of life experience and
Yeah.
emotions. And yeah, I would like to people to be more authentic. That's my wish for people.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, I love that so much. Um, and it I some of my journey of authenticity was, and all the other things around it, like vulnerability. It's like, oh
Yeah.
wow, some of the things I end up sharing, I'm like, oh, it just feels it's so hard to do,
Yeah.
and yet so powerful. And I remember there were some I quite early on in my awakening journey after November 2017, my first big awakening. I remember how it felt when people that I really trusted, and they were quite public figures, did things that were they were inauthentic. They were
Yes.
and that happened to me. That for example, there was someone that had given me like a psychic reading, energy
Mm-hmm.
healing session,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next day they published on YouTube very publicly about how they'd been under demonic attack for many months. And I was like, did you not think to tell me? Did you not think? And the thing is they knew me well, right? They knew at the time I was doing that work. I was the one. I started out years ago doing negative entity removals and helping people with psychic attacks. And that authenticity, like, just it made me realize that I really need to up my game, because
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter what other people do. They all get to choose. We all get to make our own mistakes, and it's not up to me to judge others. But what I can do is raise the bar, and that's why you see me a lot. Like, I don't really have any private documents, for example. All of my documents are on my website, so it's like all my mission, like my fears, all the things I want to do with my business, and I felt that was really important, because I always wanted people to know why I'm doing this work and
Mm-hmm.
how I could show those aspects of myself. And then I guess just the other things that happen is that whenever there's something traumatic in my life, I feel like, how can I share
Yes.
this? Because I know, especially as remember you were describing, like, these emotions, like, we can be in our joy and then it collapses, right? It's like this,
Yeah.
and within the same day, it's like this dark tower moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, what about the
Mm-hmm.
fear? Like, oh, the fear. What do I do? And and yet, what seems to create greater stability is maybe the wrong word, but consistency of my
Mm-hmm.
joy is having a regular, instead of being pulled down by this kind of deep, dark ocean
Mm-hmm.
monster at the bottom of the ocean of my darkest emotions in my heart, instead of being pulled down by it, go and visit it sometimes. At least once a week, I go in and it's like, hello, how are we doing down there? Do you need some light? Do you need, like, what's going on down there? And that really helps me a lot. And then sharing that as well. Say, you know what, I'm going to share that story. I'm going to share those emotions, because
Mm-hmm.
I want others to see that this is not a journey of perfectionism. It's a spiritual and human journey. And as you say, it's not this. Our ascension is not about coming out of our bodies. It's not about transcending our bodies. We don't leave our bodies. We're trying to bring our bodies with us. That's the whole point. Otherwise, we would have stayed as spirit guides, right? We would have, like,
Yeah.
la 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 la. I don't pay any bills in 5D. Well, that's great, right? But by the time I get there, I'll have a body, and we'll have worked out a new way of paying bills or not having bills at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I feel that's so powerful, and congratulations on your first podcast episode with me. It's such
Yay.
fun
Thank you for having
to
me,
chat.
John.
Oh, it's
Thank
my
you for having
pleasure.
me.
Thank you so much. Well, I'll let you go. I'll make sure your details are in the description of the video,
Yeah,
and it would be lovely to catch up again in the future. It'd be so much fun
for sure. Yeah,
to catch up.
let's do that. Thank you, John.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll finish our
Thank
recording.
you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.